Amouranth is a Twitch streamer known for keeping her relationship status private.
I'm married to my work, really. I don't really do anything else.
But as a recent live stream proved,
You just said something really mean.
some mysteries are kept that way for a reason.
Tired of being treated subhuman.
Now that Amouranth's relationship woes have become public,
This man is nuts. And he's downright dangerous, I would say.
her secret husband behind the scenes has been brought to light.
He's your husband.
Will the streamer make her way back into the public eye?
Trying to think about what to do. What's best to do next.
Or are her troubles just beginning? Before we get into the story, we'd like to thank today's sponsor, Kemikoto, a brand that makes Japanese steel knives. Not only are they beautiful and sleek, Kemikoto knives are made with high-quality Japanese steel, using traditional techniques from Japan. Kemikoto has worked closely with Japanese blade experts and multi-generational Japanese knife smithing facilities to create knives that would win the appreciation of the best chefs and knife enthusiasts. Now, Kemikoto knives are used by Michelin star chefs all over the world. Kemikoto is where you'll find all your kitchen knife needs, from cleaver, slicing, utility, vegetable knives, and more. Kemikoto knives have a single bevel edge, meaning it's unbelievably sharp. It's incomparable to other knives. They can cut through your ribeye like butter. And we can vouch for that. We tested a knife on various produce and found it natural to hold and easy to slice. It truly makes you feel like a real chef. You can rest easy knowing each knife is individually inspected and comes with a lifetime guarantee. The Japanese steel knives come in a heavy-duty ash wood box to safely store away, and it also makes a great present for any celebration. Kemikoto is now running a Black Friday sale and is offering our viewers an extra $50 off on any purchase with discount code SPILL50 on top of our special offers. Go to kemikoto.com/spill50 to get your knife set and help support our channel. Now back to the story. Have you heard of Caitlin Michelle Siragusa? Or perhaps her online alter ego, Amouranth, rings a bell. It's possible you know her intimately. Well, as intimately as you can know someone online, it's also possible you've never heard of her in your life. See, Amouranth belongs to an odd tier of internet celebrity where she is simultaneously famous to a portion of users while remaining entirely unknown to the rest. But those that are familiar with the Houston, Texas native know just how much power she holds over her online territory. Amouranth established her virtual influence over Twitch, a streaming platform she joined in 2016 and has now amassed 6 million followers with her mixture of cosplaying, ASMR, and gaming content. It was also here where Amouranth built a reputation for ban-worthy behavior, which included an accidental wardrobe malfunction, inappropriate behavior, licking her microphone during ASMR, and more. And while Amouranth gained and lost followers unpredictably through these bannings, the streamer was not without a side hustle or two. Or many. The 28-year-old sold NSFW content on Patreon, where she made an estimated $15,000 a month, and OF, where she averaged a whopping $1.3 million a month. By July 2022, her earnings amounted to over $33 million. And as of February 2022, Amouranth had another unique business venture to add to her ever-growing pile, selling jarred farts and hot tub water on cutiepatooties.me. With Amouranth's constant output of new content, growing platform, and overall time spent online, it was no surprise some of the streamer's viewers felt like they knew her. But for some, the connection they felt went beyond what was appropriate. In June 2022, the virtual went IRL when a fan from Estonia sold his possessions, home, even his cat, to make the trip from his home country to visit Amouranth's home in Houston. There was only one problem: he hadn't been invited. After staying at a nearby hotel, streaming and sending Amouranth disturbing videos, his behavior escalated. Dressed in his Sunday best with his saxophone case in tow, the man made his way to Amouranth's house on June 13th. The streamer described the severity of the situation to her followers, tweeting, "He cased the vicinity for 30 minutes. Cops declined to act. He streamed himself outside, slinking around mumbling about how he knew it was wrong, but I have to." The cops arrived 30 minutes later and he was arrested and likely sent back to Estonia. But this wasn't Amouranth's only fan that felt had a claim to her. Many viewers were infatuated with the streamer and, in their minds, had at least a chance with her. She was single after all. At least, that was what she claimed.
I'm 23 and open to dating. Don't have time for it though, really.
But in June 2018, a video from YouTuber Miles King put Amouranth's single status under a microscope, and what he discovered looked a lot like a cover-up.
As a lying, scamming, disgusting individual who only cares about getting money.
He connected Amouranth to a man named Nick Lee, who had posted about an alleged first date on a bodybuilding message forum years ago. But from Nick's social media posts, it appeared the courtship hadn't ended there.
He's your husband. You're married to Nick Lee.
The implication was that Amouranth had lied to keep the fantasy alive for her male viewers.
That's a horrible form of false advertisement.
There was even a marriage license from the Harris County Clerk's Office, which had the names Syracuse, Caitlin Michelle, and Nick Lee dating back to 2015. However, it's possible it could just be people with the same names, and some believe the photo surfacing of Nick could just be an obsessed fan posing as the husband. Amouranth's audience felt duped, and the streamer told the media company Sci-Fi the video had led to her being doxxed and harassed. But Amouranth wasn't the only one facing the internet's wrath, so was her fan base. A viral message exchange that supposedly transpired between Amouranth and a moderator after he found out she was married was being passed around online as a piece of hilarious modern literature. In the conversation, the moderator implied he was owed transparency after he spent 2 years of his life moderating Amouranth's chat room and going above and beyond for the streamer. "Do you know how much I support you? I always donate to you. I've given you thousands of dollars at this point," he wrote. Of course, that wasn't all. The moderator had also developed feelings. "Obviously, you know how much I like you. I was gonna fly out to TwitchCon this year. I was hoping we'd maybe get a few drinks afterwards, just you and me. See where the night takes us. And now this comes out? I feel like such a moron," he said. Amouranth wrote she was thankful to have the moderator as a friend, but evidently it wasn't friendship he wanted. "I don't need you. There are a whole lot of other streamers that deserve my time and support. As they say, there are plenty of other fish in the sea. Fish without husbands too, you liar," he wrote. Despite all the conversation about a secret husband, the streamer maintained she was single, either by tactfully avoiding the question,
"Are you married? Are you living?"
I'm married to my work, really. I don't really do anything else.
or flat out confirming she wasn't in a committed relationship.
So you are single and not ready to mingle, though?
Right, correct.
But recently, Amouranth had no choice but to go public with her marriage, and all of the mayhem that had been kept off screen for so long. On October 15th, Amouranth was streaming in silence. The streamer had her microphone turned off while she appeared to be on a phone call, with only facial expressions providing the audience with any context as to what was being said. Was it sadness that played across Amouranth's face? Boredom? Fear? Nobody had a clue. At least not until Amouranth made the sudden decision to unmute. But turning on her microphone wasn't just an action, it was an invitation. The streamer was asking her audience to bear witness. To what exactly? Well, chaos. The screaming voice that greeted viewers was none other than Amouranth's not-so-secret husband.
What the f did you just say to me?
You want to say it again?
Amouranth had given her viewers front-row seats to an argument. Now, if they could only grasp what the fight was about.
I'm not going to interrupt you, and you're not going to interrupt me.
It was clear Amaranth's husband had said something hurtful enough to prompt her to unmute.
You just said something really mean.
Oh yeah, I did.
But what had the streamer's husband said that made his wife feel she needed an audience to their private conversation? Well, there are statements you just can't take back.
You just told me you were gonna kill dogs if I didn't do a 24-hour stream.
Nope, did not say that. Now you're just being a liar.
Amaranth's husband claimed the threat against his wife's pets was empty. In his mind, he'd only said it to make his voice heard.
I said it on purpose! I said it to show you how easily distracted you are!
In fact, the streamer's husband believed there was only one person responsible for his cutting words, Amouranth. It was her lack of listening skills, her attitude, her approach to a conversation that had pushed him to say what he said. And not only did Amaranth's husband imply his wife was to blame for his reaction, she was responsible for her own as well.
When there's something that emotionally triggers you, you actually don't remember anything else. Listen, it's okay to be emotionally frail. It's okay. It would be even better if you just accepted and admitted it instead of being so defensive about it. But what is not okay is to be emotionally frail and then blame it on the person who's not.
But was Amouranth the one that was emotionally frail? Or did that title belong to her husband, who seemed to be persistently set off by the conversation?
You said you're being crazy, but you were essentially at that juncture saying I'm crazy and have voices in my head.
I never said those words. I said...
Stop! Insinuating. See, that's why I have to be real careful with the words. It triggers me when you insinuate that about me, just like it triggers you when I say certain key words.
But there was another element at play in the husband and wife's fight. power. It seemed Amouranth's other half possessed all of it in the relationship. For one, he was the unseen force behind Amouranth's entire career. From his wife's schedule that involved streams that could last 24 hours, to the direction her content went in, it was the streamer's husband who was pulling the strings attached to the online phenomenon that was Amouranth. And as Amouranth's husband's power in the relationship grew, Amouranth came to be viewed as more of a commodity than a person.
You used my body to build this empire?
Amouranth's husband also had control of his wife's social media, her OF, and her bank account. It was clear this level of power made Amouranth's husband feel an ownership over her career and an entitlement in tearing it down.
I'm gonna spend tonight disassembling this entire empire.
He threatened to use his access to Amouranth's Twitter account to tweet she had swatted and called the cops on him, deliberately decontextualizing a situation that happened at TwitchCon earlier that month, where the police were called after Amouranth's husband allegedly wrestled her in an effort to grab her phone from her.
You're literally just lying to my Twitter.
Yeah, I don't care. I built the Twitter. It'll only make me continue to lie and tear down your entire image.
Clearly, Amouranth's husband saw her career as his to giveth and taketh away, but hadn't his wife been the one in her content?
I've done the work too. It's not like I'm just
Now you're claiming credit for it.
And then the other line went silent. But Amouranth's stream was far from finished, as the streamer's considerable supply of bombshells that still needed dropping proved. One of these revelations involved the secrecy of their marriage, a decision Amouranth's husband was allegedly behind.
I've been wanting to tell people that just tell them that we're married, because it's like our relationship would be better if we just stream them and it's fighting all the time.
According to Amouranth, her appearing single had been a part of her husband's business model, but now schemes were becoming reality.
You want me to tell them I'm single? It's about to be true. Piece of shit. Go f yourself. Small anyways.
As Amouranth continued to divulge the horrors of her marriage, viewers began sending messages to the streamer. Some were supportive.
In case you need to hear this to make it clear, you are in an abusive relationship. You are the victim. Don't let this go on. We are here for you.
Some were warning.
If you stay with him, he's gonna end up hurting you. I hope you make the right choice.
And some were using the situation as an opportunity to shoot their shot with the streamer.
Does this mean you are single? You can cry on my shoulder anytime.
There were also those who were already questioning whether the argument was staged for views, a theory Amouranth quickly shot down.
I wish it was fake drama. I literally have years and years of recordings and messages. I wish it was fake. It would be great content if we could just script it.
The streamer showed her viewers some of these messages her husband had allegedly sent her when her phone was off while she was streaming at a TwitchCon party. He was mad the internet connection was making the stream lag and took his frustration out on Amouranth with a flurry of texts.
The next time when I say plan, do it. Dumb f***, do you understand?
He wanted her to answer his call immediately, and when she couldn't, he proceeded to assert his power over personal items, her career, and her finances.
But throwing your stupid merch off the balcony, proceeding to ditch your stuff, deleting social media in 1 minute, about to shut down your bank account too.
He said he donated $250,000 of her money to a bird sanctuary after she didn't call him back in 2 minutes, and $500,000 more after she didn't respond in 3 minutes. And then, the most painful blow. He threatened her horse, Chiron.
If you don't call in 1 minute, I will absolutely make sure Chiron goes to a meatpacking house, and that's what made me lose it.
Amouranth also had physical evidence of her husband's temper, including a doorknob that could no longer lock after he allegedly broke it, and a hole he allegedly left in the wall after throwing a piece of furniture. It appeared Amouranth's husband became volatile when his standards weren't met, and these standards weren't just high, they were towering. He forced her to work grueling days, argued with her for up to 12 hours when he was dissatisfied, and was constantly looking for her to up her viewership numbers. Days off or visits with their pet horses were presented as prizes for hard work that he never felt warranted in awarding.
I don't deserve a break according to this. I don't deserve a break. I haven't done anything. I've just been a warm body on the camera.
So why had Amouranth stayed with someone who treated her this way? Well, he wasn't always like this.
It's a whole Jekyll and Hyde situation where it's like they'll be really mean and they'll apologize and then they'll be really nice for a while. And then you, God forbid, you sleep in a little. Oh no, we're mean again.
And divorce posed its own issue. Amouranth's husband had allegedly told her an amicable separation would leave the streamer with only a small portion of their multi-million-dollar fortune.
I'm gonna leave you with $1 million and I'm gonna take the rest because I worked harder than you.
And even when Amouranth consented to the less than equal division, her husband wasn't satisfied.
When I tried to agree to that, even then he would back away from it and be like, no, I want to ruin your reputation and fake tweet and come after you online and talk shit and ruin your life. I'm like, okay.
But no matter what happened, it appeared the streamer was prepared for the fallout so long as she was free.
Oh no, I only get 50% of the multi-millions. You know, better than not being able to have a life.
It appeared the stream was ending on an inspiring note, until a hair-raising interaction Amouranth had with her alleged assistant who entered the home left viewers fearing for Amouranth's safety.
I haven't gotten any calls.
The supposed assistant proceeded to ask Amouranth a question, and while her voice was muffled, viewers believed she was asking the streamer if she had taken her medication. To many, this was an odd question to ask someone who was on camera. Even Amouranth seemed caught off guard.
What are you talking about? Why would you ask if I'm taking my—
And just before the door behind Amouranth opened, the stream abruptly disconnected. But regardless of the stream being cut short, the disturbing nature of Amouranth's marriage was now open knowledge. So what would the internet do with that information? The next day, on October 16th, various influencers and streamers, including Valkyrae, Daff, Lily Pichu, and others, used their platforms to draw attention to the situation. Ethan Klein raised an eye-opening concern. Makes me wonder how many others are living outwardly normal lives but suffering so badly at home. Streamer and political commentator Hassan Abi, also known as Hassan Piker, addressed people who still didn't believe Amouranth's devastating story.
Like, this person is a victim in every sense of the word, and you're still finding a way to flip this on her. You just hate women. That's what it is.
Streamer Moist Critical, known as Penguin Zero on YouTube, offered Amouranth's critics another diagnosis.
You'd have to be clinically stupid to think that this is fake.
Penguin Zero implied others should be more compassionate.
And then once she turns off stream after being insulted all day by a ton of people, she then has her husband insulting her and yelling and screaming at her.
There was one part of the video her peers viewed as especially concerning, the way it ended.
This is a scene right out of a horror movie. The doors slowly opening up behind her, someone off camera asking if she's taken her medication.
And even more chilling, it seemed nobody could get in contact with Amouranth. So while streamers like Alinity did their best to reach out,
I did a welfare check on her.
There was no direct confirmation Amouranth was safe.
The police can't tell me anything about whether or not she's okay,
aside from what her team was saying.
I did get in contact with her assistant, and her assistant said that she spoke to Ammo this morning and that Ammo was safe and okay. I don't know. I would take it with a grain of salt because at the end of the day, that isn't Ammo.
Former adult entertainment star and Twitch streamer Sasha Grey had an idea for all streamers to band together and do a wellness check on Amouranth. Amouranth's friend Peach Jars responded to the tweet, writing, "As far as we know, she is currently safe and has a support system that me and others trust. I think she needs time to process and recover." By this point, gaming news source Dexter2 had picked up the story and was sharing clips from the stream and hotlines for those suffering from DA. But with increased coverage came increased criticism. Amouranth was accused of acting, faking texts, and weaponizing her sexuality. One Twitter user wrote, "Anyone who would record a conversation to try to harm someone to say something like this is the real problem." Another asked, "When are we going to start holding women accountable for the men they decide to bring into their lives?" But laced within these tweets was a harmful victim-blaming rhetoric that could make it all the more difficult for those suffering with DA to speak out. As one Twitter user put it, "If you see this and your reaction is to blame her for not picking better men or not just leaving, you're part of the reason victims can't just leave. You help make it hard for them to reach out. You inadvertently decide to side with abusers." But as the conversation continued online, Amouranth's silence grew louder and louder. The streamer hadn't said anything since her stream, which was concerning from a streamer who was known for working taxing hours. But while Amouranth had remained quiet, someone decided to speak on her behalf. Longtime friend, cameraman, and content producer for Amouranth, Marz, made it no secret he was in the Free Amouranth camp, and it seemed he had been one of the few people who had known about Amouranth's relationship troubles before the stream. He tweeted, "I was super stressed about losing my job after Monday, and that stress is what leads good people to turn a blind eye to situations. I'm glad it's all coming to light, and I'm glad I at least tried to do the right thing." Marz had been streaming with Amouranth all day at TwitchCon and had eventually called the police on her husband. He even posted photo evidence of Amouranth locked outside the hotel room and a screenshot of his 5-minute call to 911. As for more current developments, according to what Marz had heard from Amouranth's team, it seemed the streamer was trying to sort things out with her husband. The next day, on October 17th, Amouranth broke her silence by tweeting "talk" with a link to an impending stream. Eerily, the message on the stream changed from "starting soon" to "cops are here, beep." Ammo finished that thought on Twitter, telling her fans, "Someone called cops, be back later." Marz tweeted, "To be clear, I'm not just Amouranth's content guy cameraman. I've known Kate for close to like 8 years now. I'm not some guy who just started working for her. I feel for Kate and I'm going to keep supporting her no matter what she chooses to do." But it appeared Amouranth had enough of Marz's support, tweeting him, "Stop it." And while Amouranth had told her fans she'd be back later came and went. Some viewers started to sense something sinister was at play. What if the person posting from Amouranth's social media wasn't Amouranth at all? After all, Amouranth's husband allegedly had control of her socials, her finances, and even her actions. Who could say if anything had changed? Even streamer XQC commented on a theory about why her stream connected abruptly without naming names.
Either somebody pulled a plug or somebody closed the computer. The only way that screen shows up is if nothing goes through OBS properly. Like OBS just disconnects entirely.
But just as Amouranth's viewership was on the edge of a full-blown panic, the streamer swooped in with a live on October 18th.
Hi guys.
Yet the stream didn't immediately soothe viewers' fears. In fact, more were ignited. It was the way Amouranth spoke about her husband hearing himself on the recording for the first time.
And I think that when he heard himself on that call, it really sunk in how much of an he is.
That sounded to some like an excuse for his behavior. One viewer warned Amouranth, he hurt himself and now he's gonna change. No, he's saying whatever he has to say because the world heard it. Don't be gullible. Still, the streamer wasn't with her husband at the moment.
He's not here, he's getting help. And I'm seeking legal and emotional counsel.
And according to Amouranth, she now had access to her own accounts and finances.
That's not of concern anymore.
There were other small victories worth celebrating as well, like the freedom to choose what she wore.
And I don't have to wear cleavage every day. I can wear clothes.
The freedom to sleep in after being on a schedule that only allowed 3 to 5 hours of sleep a night.
I don't even know what to do with that much sleep anymore.
And the freedom of being able to bond with her peers without any financial incentive.
I can actually feel like I can have friends again.
These were all basic rights that Amouranth's marriage had robbed her of, but not anymore.
Master has given Dobby a sock. Dobby is free.
And while she used the stream to thank those who had extended their support during this time,
yeah, I've had a lot of people reach out that offer their help and support, including like legal help, places to stay, etc. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
There were some that were excluded from her gratitude. Unfortunately, one of these people was Amouranth's cameraman, Marz.
Some people, though, seem to be using the situation for personal gain and clout, which is less moving.
According to Amouranth, the way Marz acted over TwitchCon weekend only exacerbated the situation between herself and her husband, and she was equally upset by his behavior online.
He's pretended to be a conduit of information about my welfare. Like on Twitter, badgering other staff to give him information to tweet about. And he's encouraged people to show up at my door who I don't know.
In the end, the situation led her to remove Marz from her team.
A lot of come out of this. It's messy.
As for police visitations since the stream, those mainly came in the form of welfare checkups. But Amouranth was concerned the situation had provided an excuse for people from her past to attempt showing up at her home.
I have had situations that were like, I hear tapping on my windows and then my guard dog starts barking, so I don't know what that's been about.
And while Amouranth was obviously still emotionally processing what had happened,
I'm like, do I drink? Do I stay hydrated? I don't know which one right now.
She didn't want this to be an end to her career, but a new beginning.
I just hope that people still watch without so much showing.
So, what did that mean for Amouranth's future? Well, it meant more gaming streams.
Pokemon games are coming out soon. I feel like I can actually play them.
More time with her animals.
As long as the animals are okay, I'll be okay.
And all around, more autonomy to flex if and when she chose. She ended her stream by signing off to exercise one of her newfound rights, which was a good night's sleep.
Good night. Thank you.
Later that day, Amouranth recorded a 15-hour stream featuring her horses and a gaming session. And while she used the next day to announce she would be taking a break, she has since uploaded a 9-hour stream with pumpkin picking and more gaming. It seems Amouranth is in the process of figuring out her new work-life balance, a challenge that can't seem especially daunting after her recent turmoil.
Now I feel like, though, if I've lived through this, I can live through anything.
Finally, it seems Amouranth's career is in her own hands. In the end, Amouranth's stream revealed some of the many faces of the internet. Undoubtedly, there's a side that can snicker behind a creator's back, and sits and wait for them to mess up.
That is a lying, scamming, disgusting individual who only cares about getting money.
But the internet can also be a powerful ally to those with nowhere else to turn.
Call the police? What are they gonna do?
Because at its core, the online world should be about keeping people connected.
The continuation of this and the continuation of this exploitation relies on Amouranth being isolated from everyone
and creating a community that looks out for its members. This is the story of Amouranth, the streamer who used her platform to expose what was happening to her behind closed doors. Before you go, don't forget to click the link in the description to get $50 off any purchase of Kamikoto's Japanese steel knives. Take your kitchen skills to the next level.